Hi, and welcome to Storytime with Miss Rachel. Has anyone ever told you that you can't do something, but you know you can? Well, today we're going to hear a story about a little bumblebee who was told he can't fly. Today's story is BUZZY the Bumblebee. One sunny day in a beautiful garden, there sat a bumblebee named BUZZY. His stripes were black and yellow, and his coat was rather fuzzy. BUZZY liked to fly like all bumblebees. He danced with the flowers and swayed with the breeze. He also liked to read and thought himself worldly and wise. So BUZZY was startled when he read, "Bumblebees weren't made to fly." He read it over and over. Bumblebees weren't made to fly? According to studies and research, and it went on to explain why. Their wingspan is wrong, and their bodies are too big. BUZZY was confused. He thought, "I'm not a pig." BUZZY couldn't believe what he read and kept thinking, can these facts be true? I've been flying all this time, and I shouldn't have been able to? He tried to make his wings hurt, but by pumping with all his might. But the words he had read were stuck in his head, and now something wasn't right. BUZZY was stranded on top of a flower, longing to fly away. His heart still knew how, but his head had forgotten the way. BUZZY was scared. How will I get down now I can't fly anymore? I'll have to climb down, he decided, something he'd never done before. With book in tow and little heart pounding, BUZZY tentatively took the first step. Then very, very slowly, down the flower he crept. BUZZY's foot started to slip and he felt himself let go. Oh no! Whew, thank goodness for a leaf. It helped cushion the blow. Dazed, BUZZY slowly sat up thinking, what should I do now? My home is so far away. I've got to get there somehow. Two dragonflies saw BUZZY walking, and they asked, "What's wrong with you?" BUZZY sadly told them, "My flying days are through." They didn't understand his problem because their wings worked just fine. "Would you walk with me?" BUZZY asked. "No, thank you," they declined. Feeling very envious and even a little mad, BUZZY had a funny feeling inside. He wanted what they had. Heavy-hearted, he trudged on, anxious to get home. BUZZY needed his family. He felt so all alone. Just then, BUZZY saw a stream and cried out in frustration, "Now I can't fly anymore! Will I ever reach my destination?" Every problem has a solution, his mother always said. BUZZY had to find an answer. He had to use his head. At that very moment, a flower petal drifted by. It gently floated to the river's edge as BUZZY let out a sigh. Poor BUZZY, so sad. Did you see the flower petal? BUZZY had an idea. I need something that will float. Looking at the petal in the water, he thought, that could be my boat. He picked up a blue jay's feather and cautiously pushed himself out. When BUZZY realized the petal would work, he gave a joyful shout. As he safely reached the other side, Buzzy was filled with relief. Until he saw the tall, tall grass and was suddenly overcome with grief. Sadly, he remembered the days when above the grass he would soar. Once again he thought, "What will I do now that I can't fly anymore?" Peering through the thick green grass, Buzzy thought, "This isn't fair." About to give up, he heard a voice say, "Don't stop. You're almost there." He looked up to see where it came from, but his eyes met only the sun. Mustering all the energy he had left, Buzzy began to run. Buzzy burst through the door with a tear in his eye. "Mom, Dad, why didn't you tell me bumblebees weren't made to fly?" "Why, Buzzy," they said, "you certainly can fly. Until now, that is. And do you know why?" "You're doubting yourself. Fear is blocking the way. Listen to your heart, Buzzy, not what others say. Ignore labels and limits. They seldom do good. They make you think you can't, when inside, you know you could." Buzzy thought about what they had said and knew his parents were right. It's belief in yourself that helps us take flight. Quickly, Buzzy ran out the door and looked up at the sky. Bursting with confidence and desire, Buzzy shouted, "I want to fly!" Buzzy's wings fluttered and his spirit began to soar. Buzzy knew he would be all right. He would fly once more. And sure enough, Buzzy flew. And do you know why? By believing that he could, Buzzy was able to fly. Isn't that a sweet story about Buzzy overcoming his disbelief in himself and learning that you can't listen to what everybody says, because not everybody's right all the time. Sometimes it's what we believe we can do what makes it right. Right? So today we're going to do a bumblebee craft. For this craft, you're going to need some yellow paper. If you don't have yellow paper, that's okay. You can just color some white paper yellow. And then you'll need some other sort of paper, white or blue or something. You're going to need a black marker, glue, and scissors. Right? You're also going to need something that's a circle that you can trace. Right? So this is what we're going to be making. I know mine don't really look like bumblebees right now because I'm not finished yet. So I used the tops, the lids, to some medicine bottles as to trace and make mine. So I put the lid down and I took a pencil and I traced the bottle cap top on my yellow paper. Then I cut it out. Then I glued it down. And then I glued on some googly eyes. So if you don't have googly eyes, that's okay. Just draw in some eyes. Right? So let's finish these guys, all right? So I'm going to take my black marker, and I think these guys are going to be happy because Buzzy was happy at the end of the story. So we're going to make these guys happy. So we're just going to give them a smile. And now they're happy bumblebees. All right? And now we have to draw on some stripes. Now, Buzzy has big, wide stripes. So you can make wide stripes or you can make thin stripes. I'm going to make thin stripes. And I'm only going to draw stripes on their bodies. I'm not going to draw on their heads, all right? So then I just draw from one side of the circle to the other. And you can put as many stripes or as little stripes as you want. Make them as big and thick as you want. are small and narrow. Right? I think I want one more. All right, now, also bumblebees have a stinger that they use to sting things with. See Buzzy's stinger right there? So it kind of looks like a triangle. So we're just going to draw a little triangle and color it in. Whoops, that one's not very good. All right, little triangle stingers. Okay, and bumblebees also have antenna. See right there, 2 antennae. So let's give them some antenna. Okay, now if you wanted, you can stop right there, but the whole point of the story was he didn't think he could fly because his body is bigger than his wings. All right, so bumblebees have big bodies and little wings. So we have to draw on some small wings. So let's just give them a little small wings and they can fly. All right, see their little wings? Now they're happy little bumblebees who can fly. Even though their wings are tiny and their bodies are big, they can still fly. Awesome. Now if you want, you can add things to your paper. You could give a flower, like Buzzy sits in his flower. You could give them a flower. You could give them a whole flower garden. It's up to you. And you should use your imagination on what your bees look like and what their environment looks like. Okay? Well, I hope you enjoyed today's book about Buzzy the Bumblebee. Thank you for joining me in my library. I'll see you next time.